that's horrifying. There's like a whole other dimension like going on, and they see us and they're just as scared.
There's a force in all of us that science knows nothing about, the force of fear.
Welcome, everyone, to Induced Fear. I'm your host, Oscar, and with me for this, I think it's a special episode, finally, to talk about it. I have Marie from Not a Strong Start, and Marie Plays It All. Is there any more? There wasn't any more. I asked you before.
No, that's the podcast. Yeah, that's a podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what so that everybody knows what are those shows about?
Okay, so I'm part of Not a Strong Start podcast, and they talk. I always say they because I came on later. Like they invited me on, so I always feel like, I always feel like I'm less part of it, but I am. We talk about just some
Yes.
movies and TV shows, like pop culture type stuff, mostly movie type things, and then they. When I started coming on, they're like, "Hey, do you want your own show on your channel?" I'm like, "Yeah." So then I talk about movies and TV shows, but also video games. So I added the little video games aspect, and also other stuff like aliens. My brother and I sometimes talk about like aliens and stuff like that. So it's
Okay.
a mishmash. What's the word? Mix match.
Mishmash.
It's everything. Hodgepodge.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's all of it. It's
Yeah.
all of it. It's fine.
Yeah. I talk about horror stuff
Yeah.
mostly. I'd say on mine, mostly horror stuff.
Yeah, which is why I thought you would be perfect for this discussion, especially because we've had back and forth about certain movies, anyways. So,
Hmm. Yeah, pretty similar thoughts so far on certain things. So
yeah,
yeah, I'm excited. Excited to talk about this with
yeah,
you.
yeah. This will be basically on the Conjureverse, the Conjuring movies,
Yeah.
how the movies differentiate between what really happened. I'll say what really happened in
Hmm.
quotation, and then the
Mm.
movies, and then how people just will believe anything after they see that a movie is based on true events.
Hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's we'll go. So we'll go from, I guess, Ed and Lorraine themselves, the Warrens.
Yeah.
I guess the
Mm.
most famous people outside of Zach Bagans
Okay, that's a
in the
whole other
paranormal
episode.
world. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's funny that these types of people are like the heads of the paranormal world. Like they're very popular to everybody.
Yeah, because it's the showmanship. And the thing about Ed and Lorraine Warren is that I wanted to believe them for a very long time. I really was like holding on to that because I used to watch this old ghost hunting show called Paranormal State. Did you ever watch that?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Chip Coffey, that psychic was on there. Chip Coffey,
hmm,
do you remember that guy? The older,
yeah.
okay. Well, they brought Lorraine Warren on sometimes to be the psychic, and I liked how she was so vague about things. I'm like, well, this is a little more realistic. She's not saying things like down to a T. She was more like, oh, I'm feeling energy. I'm feeling this type of energy. So I liked her. So I've liked her for years. And then there's stuff that's just been coming out lately that makes me feel like, oh, I don't know
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, that's what sucks when you start to learn. Like, cause I remember being like a huge fan of like Ghost Adventures, and then that once you start to learn everything from there, it's just like, okay, you can't believe it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, I never really watched a lot of Ghost Adventures is the Zach Bagans one, right?
Yeah.
Is it? I never really watched it that much. I think I saw like 3 episodes. He was just a little too much for me, maybe, but I saw a
Mhm.
couple episodes, one where he went to the Island of the Dolls, and I really wanted to believe that one too. I loved that episode because he seemed so scared, like legitimately scared. But I don't really watch any of those ghost shows anymore, except for the only one I watched was Destination Fear, and now it's Project Fear on YouTube. Do you ever watch that?
Oh, okay, I didn't know it moved to Project Fear.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's a YouTube show now. It's called
Okay,
Project
that's
Fear.
cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
But that's the only
Well,
one
yeah,
I'll watch. I'm holding on hope that they're legit. I'm just hanging on to that last shred of hope that maybe they're the only legit ones.
the legit ones, yeah.
You never know.
But, yeah, but then when it came down to Ed and Lorraine Warren, since they were like they
Mm.
spearheaded the whole thing. They were
Yes,
just the ones
pioneers.
that started it all, yeah. The
Yeah.
Amityville Horror, they were a part
Mhm.
of that story. Um, and then you find out it's just like when you talk about the movies, it makes it seem like they had such a big role in these stories. Like they played such
Mhm.
a massive part in it when really they were just a small little portion, and most of the time they were asked to leave. Yeah.
Yes, and I was, like, doing some research today, and I didn't realize that one of the Conjuring movies, just how little of a role they had. But
Yeah.
then in the movie, they made it seem like they were just, like, it was their thing, and it really wasn't, so, yeah, we'll get into
Yeah,
that.
the movies make it seem like they're part of the family in each turn.
Yes. Yeah, and people loved having them there. I know it's yeah, but I like the movies, though, for what they are, even if they embellish, like, everything, but I think that when you watch a movie and they have that based on true events, like, that could be like, "Hey, this girl bought a dog once based on true events, but the dog's evil and blah, blah, blah." Like, they could just
Yeah.
take, like, one small aspect, but something about the based on true events is just, like, when you, like, love horror and you love, like, supernatural, paranormal stuff, you want it to be real so bad, so the allure of it is just like, "Oh, I hope this is true. Come on, be true," because you
Yeah.
just want that you want it to be real so bad.
Yeah, that's how I felt when the movies first started coming out. Well, even when they talk about movies like, The Exorcist, they're like, "Oh,
Right.
yeah, that's based on," and then it's just like then you watch that it has multiple sequels, and it's like, "Did all of this happen? I don't believe all of this happened in the movie." Like
No, and The Exorcist was, like, but it's the stories about a young boy, right? Like a British
yeah.
boy or something, and it was, like, nothing at all like the movie, like, nothing,
Yeah,
like, that
no.
none of that happened, so, yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Uh, but I guess back to Ed and Lorraine. Ed was a World War II vet. He
Mhm.
was a police officer at a certain time, and then was a self-proclaimed demonologist. Ju- that
Yeah,
he thought he came up
self-proclaimed.
with that on his own. No schooling, no actual recognition. He's just like, this is what I am, guys, and you better be okay with it.
Yeah, what do you do for a living? Demons. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
demons.
Yeah, yeah, demons. That's yeah, self-proclaimed, sure. Can I just be self-proclaimed anything and just go to someone's house and be like, "Hey, pay me, like, 200 bucks because 'cause I'm a demonologist," so
Yeah,
can
you
anyone do
could.
that? Like,
He did it, and he
apparently.
got far with it.
Real far,
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
uh, Lorraine herself um, was said to be clairvoyant, a medium, all the things you want when it comes to looking for ghosts. And she would talk to the demons that Ed would discover. So,
Right.
like, I don't know if
Perfect. How
she saw
convenient.
them. Yeah, they work together. Peanut butter and jelly, the
Mhm.
perfect match.
Yeah, peas and
Uh,
carrots. Yep.
yeah. And then they gained notoriety. They became very well respected within the paranormal community, investigating like what we brought up, the Amityville horror. They brought up that. Even though I think the Lutz family that lived there had long since admitted that the things that happened in the house did not play out as the Warrens described or as they did in the book that came out about the house or the movies at all. Like it was completely different.
Right,
So
very,
the
yes.
Warrens were already at the beginning embellishing the story,
Mhm.
which is just great. I don't know how. Maybe they were the Lutz family was given money, or they were just like, "Hey, if we tell your story and we kind of embellish things, maybe you can get something out of it. Who knows?"
Mhm. I
But then
don't
it turned
know if
into
they
people
gave
coming
them
towards. It turned into people just going to their house constantly, and I think that's when the Lutz family was like, "Listen, it's not like what they say."
right. I hope they got something out of
Yeah.
that. I don't really know. I didn't really look into the Amityville backstory too much, but I hope they got some sort of, like, royalties or something for any of the money that was made off of their life or their events that
Yeah.
happened with them actually, but I don't know. I didn't look into that one, but I hope they did. I know that some other families didn't get much of anything.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
they have is just people who constantly went towards these houses after they were deemed haunted, and especially after the movies came out, like, people flooded those areas.
That's annoying.
Yeah.
That's like yeah. Okay.
But when it came down to the Conjuring house,
Mhm.
the parent family, um, they moved into the house, I think, January 1971. Um, there was 14 rooms in this big, giant farmhouse, perfect for, I guess, the parents and their 5 daughters.
Mhm.
What were the names? Andrea, oh, here we go. Andrea, Nancy, Christine, Cindy, and April.
Mhm.
Um, and in the movie, those are all things right. You
Mhm.
have the parents and the daughters. You have the hauntings that happen immediately when moving into the place.
Mhm.
Um, was there a part in the movie? I can't remember where like the family dog dies or gets sick or
It
something like
dies,
that?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't when during all my research, I don't think that was a part in the actual story. That they're immediately saying this ghost can kill. This demon, whatever it is, can kill. Um, so yeah, it just started off with the same things. Not regular haunting stuff. Uh,
Mhm.
things going missing, things being moved around. Um, no one touched any of the things according to the girls, the daughters. That I didn't touch it. Maybe it was a ghost that moved it.
Mm.
Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then there's other classic hauntings like scrapings on the walls. Uh, one of their kettles would make a noise when nobody was using it. Uh,
Mhm.
and then for some reason they would always find a random pile of dirt in the middle of the kitchen after they cleaned it.
Oh, that I didn't see that. I saw about, like, the stenches and the stink that they'd see
Yeah,
or the stink that they'd smell, but I didn't hear anything with the piles of dirt. This
yeah, it would
ghost
be
is
freshly
annoying.
clean. Yeah, I feel like that would have worked in the movie if they would have put that in the movie. I would have been like, that seems a little more believable because it's more of a nuisance rather than immediately the bed's getting levitated and slammed down or
Right. Getting dragged out of the bed and everything like
yeah,
that. Yeah. It's a random pile of dirt. I'd be like, "God damn it. What?"
yeah,
That'd be creepy, though. If I walked into my kitchen and saw, like, a random, like, pile of dirt there, I'd be like, "Why? Like, how and why? Why that? Why of all things?" Just
yeah,
like yeah, an inconvenience.
yeah. So that was those are already. I mean, the same things happen in the movie. The scrapings, the knocks, whatever. I think the
Mhm.
only thing different is the like the hand clapping game that they play within
I
the
love
movie.
that.
Yeah,
So
that's
good.
such a good. It's just a good ploy for a good scare within a
Oh,
movie.
yeah. Oh, like,
um.
that movie is one of my favorite horror movies
Oh
ever, I
yeah,
think.
yeah.
But, yeah, but then when you, like, read like, I got a whole bunch of, like, the actual words from, like, Andrea, like, the daughter who lived there, and, like, it's very different than
Oh
what
yeah, because
you
she wrote her own book too. So
Yeah, yeah, she did.
yeah, and hers is a crazier story because at one point she describes it as almost being like this weird kind of time portal that
Mhm.
they see they see what appears to be a ghost sitting at the table, and then when they make eye contact with this ghost, it gets up as if he is seeing a ghost.
Oh,
Like
that's
yeah, like
make that a
uh,
movie, like, that's creepy as hell, like, that's like a wormhole,
yeah,
like, what, like, alternate dimensions and stuff? Like, that would be
yeah,
a creepy movie too, like, that's horrifying, there's, like, a whole other dimension, like, going on, and they see us, and they're just as scared. Ugh,
yeah,
creepy, yeah.
yeah. That's what I always liked about the story that Andrea shares is because
Mhm.
it's not it doesn't seem over the top, but it's still, like, crazier than what the movie put out.
Yeah.
And then people really believed it, like, after this movie, I don't know how many owners the house actually got,
I don't know.
but I know there was a couple. I know there was one time somebody living there was on TikTok and they were posting videos all the time. Like, here's my life living in the Conjuring home. And they were saying things like, nothing really happens all the time. There are these types of things. Sometimes we'll hear a bang, sometimes we won't. And it was very calm. But the
Okay.
new people that own it now, um, we've seen big time YouTubers go there and they get
Mm,
crazy evidence. Um,
okay.
um, but what I learned is because I wanted to go and stay at this place. I wanted to go and see if it was actually haunted. Um, but there are so many rules
What are
for
they?
going there.
What is
You
it?
can't if you're gonna film or do anything, you can't go there and like basically go against their narrative that the place is
Okay.
haunted. So if you say
Okay.
something different than the normal hauntings, they're like, well, we have to make sure that it's actually fits in with what actually happens here. We have all the real paperwork, so you can't make
Mm,
up anything or something like that.
okay.
Yeah, it's very weird, and it's like if you want it to be you have to pay extra if you wanna record video and put it out, and you have to make sure you abide by all the rules and all of this stuff.
Mm,
And after that, I was like, "Okay, maybe it's not what I'm thinking the place is gonna be, and it's not worth it for me to go there." Because for me, I'm very if it doesn't nothing happens, nothing's gonna happen. I'm not gonna pretend like something is going on.
good. That's how it should
Yeah.
be. And it
Yeah,
seems
but
like
once I read that, it's crazy.
well, yeah, 'cause they want you to show that it's haunted, right? Because they're making money off people going there, I'm guessing,
Mhm.
right? Like, you have to pay
Yeah.
to go there?
Yeah.
Is it
It's
a
a lot.
lot? I don't wanna
Yeah.
is it a lot?
Yeah.
Mm. So that's oh, how convenient that the activities, like, acting up and there's it's peaking now because, like, then they're bringing in more people and paying getting
Yeah.
more money. Ah, it's all about the
Exactly.
money, people. It's all about the money.
But I once I start like, because I like that story and I like the story that Andrea tells about
Yeah.
everything, um, because from what she said her mother did her own research on the property, just
Mhm.
like saying that there have been 8 generations of family in this house, um, many of the members of the family dying under, like, mysterious circumstances,
Mhm.
um, then they came across the name Bathsheba, the one that is depicted in the movie, um,
Right.
and even Andrea says, like, whoever the spirit was, she perceived herself as the mistress of the house, and she resented the competition with her mother.
Ooh,
So that
okay.
plays out the same as in the movie.
Mhm.
So they really stuck to that. Once they got I guess once they got that from her, they were like, "That's the route we're going for the movie."
Mhm.
This is, again, based on true events, I guess, right?
Mhm. Loosely, yes. I mean,
Yeah.
I love the way that I like that they took it in that direction because the Bathsheba storyline is horrifying, and her those moments when she jumps off that wardrobe, man, that part
Yep.
is so good. Like, I just it's so good, but and also, like, Lorraine Warren walked into that house and was like, there's a entity, dark entity, and her name is Bathsheba." Like, she said that right away, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, I think
Malignant
it
presence in this house, Bathsheba, yeah, okay.
yeah, let's see. They made a few visits to the house, um, and, surrounding because it says that the same as, I guess, in the movie, There was a rumor surrounding that Bathsheba was like a witch of some kind doing
Mhm.
satanic rituals. Um, and it says there was evidence, but there was no real trial on it. It
Mhm.
says there was evidence that she had been involved in the death of a child, and then uh, that was a neighbor of hers. But I don't know how there's evidence tied to it when there was no real trial on the matter. Uh, and then it says that she was buried after her death. She was buried near a Baptist cemetery in Harrisville. Um, and it was the parents who actually believed that it was Bathsheba first.
Mm.
They're the ones because they
Okay.
were just like, "This is the one." I guess all fingers were pointing towards Bathsheba when it's just like, okay, things don't feel right. It's almost like in competition with our mother, and there's a rumor of satanic things and going after kids.
Then put it all together, then they assume it's that Bathsheba woman.
Yeah,
But who
yeah,
apparently lived, like, a mile away, though, from the house, right? Like, she didn't live in that house, but she lived, like,
yeah.
close to it, right?
It was just an actual. It said it lived. They lived on like the property, which the property is giant. Back
Yeah,
like
right.
it's a giant, huge property. Um,
Mhm.
and that's all that they. It was an actual person by the name of Bathsheba Sherman.
Mhm.
Um, and that was in the 1800s. But in the movie, it's basically Lorraine, who, like you said, Lorraine, who's just like it's Bathsheba. She's a witch. It's like
She's
who
a
made
witch, yeah.
sacrifices to the devil. You know. Uh,
Right, and but then apparently, like, the baby, like, a baby died just, like, under her care, so they thought that she killed this baby, and then they're like, "Oh, it's probably a sacrifice. Oh, she's a witch." Oh, so yeah, maybe she did though, I don't know, like, we don't know, we don't have, like I say, there's
yeah.
no real
It was
evidence for it.
1800s, so you can't like. I'm pretty sure like you can't find all the paperwork from that.
Yeah.
um, yeah, that Andrea doesn't say that it was Bathsheba all the time. She talked about other spirits being there. Like you had said earlier about the rotten smells, like the just the gross strong smells. Um, they said they wouldn't go into their basement, which in the movie, like a big part of the movie takes place in the basement. Um, they wouldn't go down there because it was cold and a stinking presence would follow their father when they went down there,
Yeah.
which made them stay out of there unless, for whatever mysterious reason, the heater would stop working down there. So they would have to go down there. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so it took. They lived in the house for 10 years, and the Warrens did make appearances throughout the time while they were there. That's a long time to be in that house if they're being completely terrorized by the spirit. Like in the movie, how long in the movie do they stay in that house?
It feels like only, like, a few months. Like, that's what it feels
Yeah.
like in the movie. Apparently the hauntings only happened for 3 years, but then they stayed in it, and, like, they had some good times and stuff too, apparently, like, so it wasn't, like, complete horror like it is in the movie, but the movie, yeah, it seemed like didn't it feel like it was just, like, a few months or something? Didn't
Yeah.
seem long. Mhm.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, there is time
No.
for like Ed to fix a car and,
Oh, yeah,
and
he
stuff
did
like
fix
that.
that car. Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, okay. Okay, so maybe
Yeah,
that's,
like
like, we'll
Lorraine is
put a
doing laundry
timeline
and he's
in.
fixing a
Yeah.
car. Yeah.
Yeah, they were living there in the movie. Yeah, that didn't
Yeah.
happen. It wasn't like that, no.
Yeah, because I know that after they do their exorcism, which in the actual story it says they did a seance,
Mhm,
that they could not do an exorcism because it needed to be sanctioned by the church or whatever the case,
mhm,
even though Ed was a self-proclaimed demonologist. He could have done it.
right.
He had his made up credentials with him.
Like, demonologist bad, she, like, made
Yeah.
out just, like, writing it down, like, "Ugh, demonology."
Ju it's just a really scary face with his name in the middle of it,
Yeah.
his badge.
Just like a draw of the devil, little mustache and
Yeah.
pitchfork. He's like, "I'm a this I fight these. I fight this type of crime."
Yeah, I think I would imagine it'd be written in crayon, and instead of saying "I am a demonologist," it just says "Am demonologist" written in crayon.
Just yeah. Oh god, the letters are backwards and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The
Oh,
family's just like,
Ed
"Alright,
Warren's
checks
gonna
out. He
haunt
has the
us.
paperwork." Yeah.
He has the paperwork. Ed Warren's gonna get us because 'cause we're talking smack about him. I don't know if I can swear on here. I almost said swear.
Yeah, you can. I don't care.
Okay. Oh, man.
But yeah, they do that whole seance, and in the movie, it's, like, crazy. She's, like, levitating and flipping around, spitting up blood, like
Right. Okay, so that apparently okay, what did Andrea say here? I took a whole bunch of, like, copy and pastes things. Um, yeah, she says, "My mother was attacked and almost killed in that house by something that was invited in by a medium who was, as far
Yeah.
as I'm concerned, committing spiritual malpractice." It's like, "Oh, okay, shots fired." And, but, yeah, apparently, like, she was, like, thrown and all that stuff, like, the mom was thrown and they had people recording it and everything, but the cameras were smashed to bits though.
Yeah.
And the audio came out nothing but white noise. So
Ooh,
we'll
but
never
if you
know
woulda
the
saw that
truth.
evidence, if you woulda
I
seen it,
know.
they saw it,
And
they know.
yeah, yeah. And Lorraine know too. They were there.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, I think it's crazy because it's just like, they got all the story, I mean, doing the seance right, but I
Mhm.
would imagine that if they actually believed it was somebody who was connected to demons in some way or got their power, they're such a strong spirit because they got their power from the devil. Why would you try to do a seance to, like, bring that spirit forward and then put somebody in harm, you know?
No, exactly. That's what that Andrea said
Yeah.
too. She said, you don't kick open wide the doors to the netherworld and invite everything in to determine the culprit, like, you don't like, "Oh, we think." I mean, but then I'm thinking like, "Oh, man, if I thought my house was haunted, I would be like, oh, we should do a seance." Like, I would it's like, "We gotta find out, we gotta know what's real." Oh,
Yeah, I probably would've done the
but
same
yeah.
thing, honestly. But I guess it wasn't too bad if they were there for 10 years, you know?
Mhm,
In most horror movies, they're like, "We're getting out that night. We're leaving. We're not coming back into this house."
mhm.
But for them, it was
Yeah,
like,
but
"Eh."
yeah, they had some good times, I guess, like, I mean, yeah. 10 years is a long time to stay after, being attacked by a demon witch in your house.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wanna stay in there. I'd be like, no, I can't even be in this room because who knows what's gonna happen. Like, it could happen again. You don't
Yeah.
know. No, I couldn't.
They're just like, "Well, how are things at the new house?" "Well, we got a demon witch, but, she doesn't come out all the time, so
Yeah,
it's pretty good every once in a while."
yeah, yeah. It's okay. I think we'll stay here. This is all right. A little bit of a full house, but it's okay. We can handle
Yeah,
it.
unless a medium comes in and kicks open the door to the netherworld. Like
Yeah, that will be good until that happens.
yeah, it's such a cool
Oh my
line to
god.
say, "Kicks open the door to the netherworld."
Yeah. Kicks open the door to the nether. It's like
All I imagine when I think of that, all I imagine is, uh, Ash.
yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah,
I can just see him, like, busting in being like,
yeah,
"Oh my
chainsaw
god."
and shotgun.
Yeah.
Bathsheba would have been taken
Yeah.
care of like that. Fash
Oh,
Williams came in there?
instantly. Instantly.
Yeah,
Okay, they need to do a mashup. We need a Conjuring, Evil Dead mashup. There you go.
that would be cool. It'd be a lot better than Evil Dead Rise. Well, that's a
Oh my god. We yeah,
yeah.
oh,
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
Don't get me going because I could go off on that movie. Oh, no.
Uh, but yeah, so the Warrens weren't there living with them the entire time. Ed wasn't playing guitar, or I don't know if he just does that in the second one or if he does that in every single movie. He has to play guitar
Yeah.
and sing a little Elvis. Uh,
Mm. Oh, yeah. Just kumbaya with everybody, yep.
yeah, everything's
Mhm,
so happy now. All right, now that we have taken care of your laundry, fixed your car, let us also banish this demon within your house.
mhm. Yeah, with an acoustic rendition
Yeah,
of "Any requests? Any requests? Let's go," and that's what banishes, you know, that's what banishes everything.
he's a powerful bard. Um,
Terrible bard. Oh, man.
he can put that down too. Demonologist and a powerful bard.
I was gonna say on his, like, little card, he's been
Yeah.
even those powerful bard.
And
Oh my god. Oh,
in like a little like parentheses, it's just like super strong.
yeah, the strongest.
Yeah. And then
Specializes in kicking open doors to the nether.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Everything cool sounding. That's what Ed Warren is.
yeah.
And then
Sorry,
there's
Ed
his
Warren,
wife.
if you're listening.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who can talk to them. Be like, listen,
Mhm.
why don't you just leave this family alone? Go back through that door. I'll
Yeah,
close it gently.
yeah. Oh, Lorraine.
She did because she did seem gentle.
She did seem gentle, but maybe
Yeah.
that was the whole that maybe that was, like, part of it all. Like, maybe I mean, you would trust someone that was this little cute, gentle lady who dressed like she was from a different era. Like, I'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're like a little cute little sweetheart. Oh, you mean no harm." But she was like, racking
Yeah.
in the cash.
You know what? I will call forth this spirit, but it's gonna cost you
Mhm.
to get rid of it.
Mm. That's probably what it's like now, especially. Oh, it's definitely like that now. Whatever
Oh
demonologists
yeah.
are out there, like, that's what it's like,
Well, we
for
have
sure.
Zach Bagans. He's single handedly saving the world.
He's living in the nether. He's just in the nether. That's just a
I know.
whole yeah.
But yeah, they end up what in the movie they end up banishing her um after the whole attack.
Mhm.
She like the mother gets possessed and goes after the children. Um and I feel like in every single one of the Conjuring movies, it's like you can beat the spirit with the power of love.
Mm.
With the power of love, love conquers all. Especially in the third one. Especially in the third one.
I've only seen the 3rd one once because I
Same.
really didn't feel it. I did not feel that movie. Didn't.
No, and that one was really heavy-handed with love conquers all. Like,
Oh, man. It was oh, but there's so many okay, we're jumping ahead to the 3rd movie because we
yeah,
got yeah, there's that one I think is, like, the most things you can say is that movie.
yeah,
But, like, of all of the Conjuring movies, I feel like I don't wanna say this one stays the most true to the story, or I believe that this story actually has some, like, truth behind it in a sense, not like
yeah,
the craziness that they show in the movie, which I love. I love the movie,
yeah.
but I think that it at least it takes into some sort of an account for some true aspects of it. I think the first Conjuring is the best example for that.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think.
because 'cause they're establishing their universe and they really wanna sell it to everybody.
Yeah. Just like what Ed and
So
Lorraine did with the Amityville.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah, they're doing the same thing.
exactly. But the that I that's why this first one is probably the better of all of them. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it stays pretty true. Everything is pretty on point with things, besides
Mhm.
the craziness, like Bathsheba jumping off of the wardrobe thing, uh,
So
the
cool.
clapping that
Mhm.
goes on.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of great sells, but then as always with when they start to build their universe. By the time the second one comes out, they really start to embellish more and more because they're building their own universe.
Yes.
So then we
And
go into the
yeah,
UK.
then we hop a plane and go to the UK.
Yeah,
Conjuring 2. Yeah.
yeah, which is just a family being haunted in their home um, by the spirit of like what is depicted as an elderly man, um, Bill Wilkinson. Uh, yeah, that's it, right? That's the right name
I
because I
think
just
I
remember
think I
the
think so.
the name being brought up
I'm
in like
trying
when they're trying to
yeah.
talk to the spirit.
I know it's like Bill Wilkins. Bill Wilkins,
Yeah,
that's his name. Bill Wilkins, okay. Yeah, I remember.
yeah, that's the one scene. That's why I remember his name is just from that scene
Yeah.
in the movie.
There's some good
I
scenes
think
in that movie. There are some good
yeah,
scenes in there. Like but then there's some that I'm like, nah, because then James Wan gets a little like whimsical and a little like fantastical with his movies that it's almost like it takes me out of the horror element of it.
yeah,
So he does
yeah,
that in this movie, and I'm just like, but there are some creepy scenes in this
yeah.
movie.
Like when he adds the crooked man into.
Yeah, I didn't like the Crooked Man. I did not like that. Did you like that? Did you like the
Yeah.
Crooked Man?
I think it's a cool design on its own, but it doesn't fit at all with the movie.
Yes. Thank you. Exactly what I was thinking. When I first saw it, I'm like, yeah, this
Yeah,
just doesn't feel right. It feels like it's in a different universe. But yes, thank you.
yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that's why he was going to get his own movie. The Crooked Man was going to get, which I don't know why. If it was just like supposed to be like a nursery rhyme for the kids that's supposed to be well known, but for some reason it was going to become another haunting movie,
Mm.
much
Mm.
like The Nun, who also makes an appearance in this movie.
Yes. I've never seen any Nun movie. Yeah,
Oh, really?
I've seen every Conjuring universe movie, except I haven't seen any of the Nun movies just because people have said they're so terrible. So I'm like, I haven't seen
I,
them.
I kind of like the first one. I haven't seen the second one.
Okay. Okay.
I just like the first one because it just feels different than the rest of the other movies. Like that one I can
Okay.
believe to be more over the top because it's its own thing. It's
Right.
not
True.
it's not really connected to the Conjuring verse until like the end of the movie. Then it shows its connection.
Oh, okay. 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 Oh, maybe one night I'll put it on.
Yeah. It's just more fun. You're not gonna really be scared or it's not gonna draw you in. It's just another just fun horror movie
Okay.
because they're making their money off of the story.
Yeah, they got
Uh
it. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't the nun plays no part in the real story.
No.
Plays no part at all.
No. Yeah.
But
Okay.
throughout this movie, you see like just hints of like you'll see Vecna spell not Vecna. Vecna is a whole nother movie. Valak. Uh
Valak no, back to Stranger Things, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, scary V name. Yeah, with a
Yeah.
K.
But like you'll just see Valak spelled out and like at the Warren's home, like
Yeah.
spelled out all throughout the movie. So that's
Okay.
their big bad. Um But the real story is just basically the simple haunting that went on within this house. Again, beds floating up and slamming down, being pulled out of the bed, the scratching and tappings on the wall. Um, Apparently, the whole kitchen being trashed.
Mhm.
Um, but then it being caught on video that the girl faked it all.
Mhm.
But then she says, "Oh no, the ghost made me fake it all."
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, there's that one picture, very classic picture of her like
Mhm.
supposedly floating in the air, but it very obviously looks like jumping.
Oh my god. I looked at all the pictures today. I listened to all the recordings. Not gonna lie, I did get a little freaked out listening to the
With the
recordings, reading
recordings.
about this
Yeah.
story. And while I was doing it, a Christmas ball like fell off my Christmas tree, and I'm like, it gets a little creepy, but at the same time, I have a lot of thoughts as to what this actually is, this haunting. But yeah,
Yeah.
what's her name? Janet Hodgson? She was, like, 11, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was the
Yeah.
one who was, like, possessed by this Bill Wilkins ghost.
Yeah.
Okay.
My name is Bill Wilkins. Um,
Yes.
yeah, that's the part where she, like, puts the water in her mouth and then, like, the voice. And I think they said that's one of the, like, the real things that happened, like, they were testing to see, like, what she could if it was actually her faking the voice and things like that,
Right.
because it's not hard for somebody or even a child to, like, change the way their voice sounds to sound
Mm-mm.
scary. Like, it's
Mm-mm.
not it's not hard at all. Like,
No.
and even in the
Right.
recordings, it does sound scary, but it does sound like a kid changing their voice to make it sound a little deeper
The thing
or
about it is
scarier.
you can hear, like, her voice in the back.
Yeah.
Like, you can hear I don't know how to explain it. It's like there's layers to it, but you can hear, like, her
Yep.
kid voice, but then it's and then, I was watching there's that, m was it what was he? The man who, like, did, like, the main
Oh, yeah,
investigation.
because with the news and everything.
Yeah, and he was saying, like, her mouth would barely move, and her voice would get sore if she was talking like that, and let me tell you, I didn't have a voice for, like, 3 weeks, and I sounded like Bill Wilkins, and
Yeah.
my throat didn't hurt at all. My throat did not hurt, I was fine, so it was possible. Plus, if a kid is faking something like this, they're gonna just go for it, and they maybe she
Yeah.
did it so often that her voice was just used to it. Like, I don't know. This story to me is like a little she would levitate it off the ground. She's jumping from
Yeah.
one bed to another. Like, it's
Yeah, because it
obvious.
very obviously looks like jumping. The legs are up in the air.
Very. It's
Yeah.
it's oh, you guys gotta look up these pictures for the Hodgson Einfield poltergeist because like
Yeah.
this is what Conjuring 2 is based off of, and it ain't it ain't.
Yeah, I remember when I had,
It ain't.
our mutual friend, Simon, when he came on,
Mhm.
uh, he talked about not living far from the place, and he was like, "Yeah, like, it really happened, there was always, like, news things over there, like, people still go and walk by that house." Again, which is just one of those things that would be super annoying. I mean, the lady who lives in, the Breaking Bad house,
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
she's completely done with everybody who comes to that house.
Oh, yeah. Well, I bet, like, didn't people, like, try to, like, throw pizzas and stuff on her roof and everything like that?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I
So I
mean
would just imagine how these houses are. Like,
right. And I'm not saying that maybe there wasn't actual ghost stuff happening at this house. Like, apparently some police officers actually witnessed, like,
like a chair sliding.
yeah, like, they
Yeah,
witnessed all this stuff, but then again, I mean, like, kids can I don't know. But the girl being possessed, I don't know about that. It just to me, it just sounded like a little girl looking for attention.
yeah,
They were like a
especially because it's
they were
like,
like
they yeah, their family was going through a hard time, like, it was just like,
yeah.
the kid wants attention because the mom has now become overworked in this
Mhm.
situation that she's not paying it not that she's not paying attention to her kids, but she has now less time. Um, and so this young girl is just acting out, and
Mhm.
she even admits to faking things, and then will
Mhm.
backtrack a little bit and say, "Well, the ghost told me to do that," which are all things that sound like what a kid would do.
Right.
You know, like
Absolutely. Well,
it
yeah.
wasn't me, it was Chucky. You know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But
Yeah,
yeah, it just seems like she was looking for any sort of attention. It was like a single
yeah,
mom, and they didn't have much money, and her mom was working all the time. So if you're not getting the good type of attention, then kids will seek out negative attention just to get any sort of attention.
yeah,
And it's just what it seemed like. I don't know how the little girl knew what this is apparently true that she knew that man's name. Bill
Mhm.
Wilkins,
Will
and she knew how he Wilkins? I keep forgetting.
Yeah, I think Bill
Okay,
Wilkins, I think this was
and she knew how he died, apparently, but I don't know how she knew that part, but, I mean, you could figure things out from neighbors or something, I guess, if you
yeah.
know,
Like, "Who used to live
but
here before?" "Oh, yeah, but this man by the name of Bill Wilkins lived there."
yeah. But he died of a
Um,
heart attack. Okay,
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, but, like, it again, like, in the movie, it's like I was gonna say Vecna again. Valak, um, was the one orchestrating the whole thing, like,
How
uh I guess they just needed I guess, one of, like, the behind the scenes things was that Valak was gonna actually be, like, a demon, kind of like what happens in, Annabelle, Creation when you can see the actual demon,
Mm,
um, and things like that, but that didn't go over well. It took people out of the movie, so they changed it into a nun because then that will completely go against the Warrens and their faith. It was like an opposing
okay,
force. Um, but
okay.
yeah, they just completely throw because by the time we get to the part where she has trashed the kitchen and everything is stacked weird and she's like twisted inside of the like cover or whatever,
Mhm.
um, that's when there's that whole turn because they like have an audio recording and they play it backwards or something like that. They just reverse it. And
Mm.
Bill Wilkins is saying, like, it's not me, it's another. Like even the ghost at this point is like, it wasn't me that did it. It was the demon.
Leave me
Yeah.
out of this. Bill
Yeah.
Wilkins like, "I'm trying to rest here in, like, eternal slumber, and you
Yeah.
guys keep bringing me up into this stuff. It's the goddamn nun."
Yeah, it's the nun, it's the demon. But then that's when we get more of uh super powered up Lorraine, how she's just seeing it's just flashes of images and Ed dying, like being impaled by like a tree or something like that, being killed by Valak.
Right.
Um, and then it goes up from a comfortable like this is a cool seance that's happening in Conjuring 1 to a full blown screaming match between a demon and Lorraine, and they're just slammed against the walls and wind and everything is flying in the room.
It's like a Mortal
Which I feel like
Kombat, like,
yeah,
"Fight!"
I was like maybe it wasn't the demon that took people out of the movie. It was that whole scene that took people out of the movie. Because at that point, once the whole front end of a house is being blown off by this demon force, like
Yeah.
you can't believe it anymore.
No, it's I like it when it's just so much more same with The Conjuring 1, it was, like, so organic and it felt natural, but then when they added all the
Mhm.
birds flying around the house, I'm like, "This is too
Yeah,
much." Like, that's my least favorite part of that movie because it's just too much, and then you're right, when they add stuff like that where it's just all crazy, it's like, "Okay." You had me at based on a true story when a little girl was maybe talking like an old guy and you can kind of see his silhouette in the chair. Like that was
yeah,
cool. But then when you add like all this like crazy CG stuff, and apparently Ed and Lorraine Warren were barely even there at this case. It wasn't even like their
yeah,
case. They were barely even
yeah,
there.
yeah. Because they had more
Like
important things. They like they made it. It was another thing where they just made an appearance.
they did. They made an appearance. Like
Yeah,
yeah, it says most articles that focus around this story, like Ed and Lorraine Warren, are not even mentioned. Not even mentioned at all.
yeah. But again, they're there doing laundry, fixing water pipes, and playing the guitar.
Yeah, just being like the second mom and dad to this family.
Yeah,
Oh my god. It w
which is
wait,
just
it's one
so
thing.
weird. I don't know why they didn't have to depict them as like people without flaw, you know? Like
They really
they're just
did. They were like
yeah,
this angelic couple, like
yeah.
yeah.
We're just here to fight evil. We go where evil is and we toss them back into the nether realm. That's what
Just
we do.
kick
Yeah,
Kick that door, let it hit
yeah,
the ghost on the ass on the way through.
yeah,
Yeah, they're just like they're like superhero angelic creatures and everything else is evil and they're fighting. Um, but this I found really this I found really interesting. It says, in fact, Guy Lyon Playfair, don't know who that is one of the original paranormal investigators on the Enfield poltergeist case, came
yeah,
forward prior to the movie's release and said that the Warrens had showed up uninvited and only stayed for a day at the Enfield
yeah,
place. Then said he also said that Ed Warren told him he could make him a lot of money off the case.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yep, and they
yeah,
were just turned away. They were just like, "No,
yeah,
just please get out here."
yeah.
They
They were
already
only there
had
for a
enough.
day.
Yeah, because they already had enough news going there, police going there. At this point, everybody in the neighborhood knows what's going on, and then it's like, now here are these 2 people from America
Mhm.
that are supposedly the best there is, um, and they're just coming there to, like, say, "Hey, why don't you, let us take over and then, give us your story? Because once we're
Yep,
here, your story becomes our story." Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And then they get their money because then Hollywood comes a knocking.
Which it did.
They wrote so many books. They wrote so many books,
Yeah.
and I've
Oof.
listened to some of the books because I've got them on, like, audio books,
Mhm.
and crazy. I mean, you saw I don't know if you watched Annabelle Comes Home,
Mhm.
where they take on somebody who was, like, possessed by a hellhound and was like a werewolf or did
Oh,
things like a
yeah.
werewolf, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, man. I personally don't mind the Annabelle movies. A lot of people really don't like them, but, I
Oh, I
actually
couldn't
liked
I
the
almost
Annabelle
walked out of
movie.
Comes Home.
I did not like that one. That was way too much. This is what I mean about it becoming more like a fantasy movie. Like,
Yeah.
they push it until it becomes like a fantasy, like, whoa, it's just too much. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was like, "What is this, like, the Avengers? We're just assembling all of the demons and ghosts within the house? Like,
That's what it
what are we trying
seems
to."
like. And
Yeah.
then Ed and Lorraine come in and they're like, "We're gonna defeat you with a
Yeah.
cross." And they're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." They're like the superhero, like, yeah, they're the power.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it made no sense. But, yeah, that's what ends up happening with this story. It becomes like this superhero battle not at
Mhm.
the original story, but the movie itself, it just becomes a superhero battle.
That
Yeah,
movie had
and
potential too, man. Like, that movie had potential.
yeah.
Like, the first half, I think, is, like, really strong, and then it just gets too much and
Yeah,
falls
because it's
apart
even great
after a
that
while.
they add in the parts where there's the speculation of the girl faking everything,
Right. Yep, I agree.
which makes great for a movie. You take out
Mhm.
the crooked man, take
Yeah.
out Valak and everything, and you would have yourself a pretty solid haunting movie.
Yeah. I
But
I agree.
when you add in the craziness of, like, wasn't it the dog that transforms into the crooked man? Like doesn't it start off as the dog and it starts, like, cracking apart, like,
It might. That part, I kind of, like, kinda take it out of my mind because when I first
yeah.
watched it, I was like, "No, no, don't do it. It's too much. No." I wouldn't be surprised, but I've only seen that movie, like, maybe 2 or 3 times, but it's been a while since I've seen it, and I usually
Yeah.
trail off when it gets closer to the end because 'cause I'm like, "All the
Yeah.
good parts are over." Yeah.
Yeah, then they defeat, uh, Valak, and again, it with this one wasn't I guess it was kind of with the power of love because 'cause they're, like, fighting. She's fighting to save Ed at this point because she has had this
Mhm,
premonition that he's gonna die. Um, so she's like, "What's the name? What's the name?" And it's like, basically, the name was given to you. Like, the demon basically gave you its name, which I don't know
mhm.
why. If the demon's like, My name gives you power over me. Here it is.
Yeah,
Here goes my name."
yeah.
Um, and she banishes it. Um, no, no need for an exorcism or a seance at that point. she's so powerful. All she has to do is say, "Hey, I know your name. Get out of here."
Yeah. Oh, man. See, I forgot all about that Valak stuff in that movie, and you're bringing it up to me, and I'm like, "Oh, man, I can see it in my head now." I'm like, "No, that's why I don't go back to that movie a lot because that ending was just too." It's like an eye roll moment because, like, "Oh,
Yeah.
man, you guys shouldn't have went here. You guys shouldn't have went this far."
No,
Ugh.
but then the third movie takes it so much farther, so much farther.
That that 3rd movie, I okay, I don't know why so many, like, possession, exorcism movies have to have, like, this crazy wind and glass shattering and everything being
I don't know.
thrown, like, I hate that. The CG in this movie was so over the top crazy.
Yep.
I just felt like it just it felt like it wasn't intimate enough. It didn't feel real or organic at all. It just felt like a huge, like, here's a ton of money. Just do whatever you want. And that's what it felt
Yeah.
like. And it was just too much. Yeah, I don't like that one.
But they hyped
Mm-mm.
it up just because it's like it took a while to go from The Conjuring 2 to The Conjuring 3 because you had all the other small controverse movies in between, like the
Mhm.
Annabelle movies, The Nun. Um, was there any other one? Those were the only ones, right?
La Llorona.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. La Llorona. I actually like that one just because it's so basic until it becomes one of those screaming, like everything
It's
flying. Yeah,
always the screaming matches.
yeah. But this one, the third one, the devil made me do it, based on an actual case that went to court about a guy who was like, Hey, I didn't mean to kill this person. I was possessed by the devil."
Yeah.
And the court was like, "Can we take that into account? Maybe, maybe we can take it into
Mhm.
account. Let's just run the case.
Mhm.
It's not going to go the way he wants it to go. We'll just run the case." Um,
Mhm.
but that movie starts immediately with just the big crazy wind tunnel, a tornado inside of the house, and them
A
fighting
little
off the
kid
demon.
bending backwards and
Yeah,
controlling, yeah, and a big demon fight. Do you know what gets me with that friggin' movies that do this? Okay, I have 2 kids, okay? And when I see movies where the parents are like, "There's oh, there's a demon possessing our child," or there's a demon surrounding our child. "Okay, go to bed, good night." Close the door and put them in their
yeah,
room. I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, you'd be, like, attached to your kid, and in this movie, they're, like, doing some, like, say, possession thing on their son, and then they just like, "Okay, go to bed." And the kid just
yeah,
goes upstairs, like, "Good night, go to bed, get out of our hair." Like,
yeah.
that's no.
It's so weird that there's like, I feel like if it was real, there
Yeah.
would be there would be, like, trauma afterwards, but it's just like, "Alright, everything's back to normal.
Yeah.
Alright, get ready to go to sleep because you got school in the morning."
Yes. Not missing just like in
Yeah,
the first Conjuring when the mom is, like, finally not possessed after she just tried to murder her daughter, and her
oh,
daughter's like,
yeah.
"Mom," and hugs her. I'm like, "Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?" I'd be like, "Whoa, bitch, stay away.
yeah.
Who are you?" Like, there's no trauma. Everyone's like, "Oh, mom's back." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" That was
Yeah, show me your
horrifying.
hands. There's not a knife in your hands like there was before, right? Just show me your hands.
Yeah, no. Yeah, oh my god. Okay. Oh.
But, yeah, this movie starts with the big giant thing,
Mhm.
which
Mhm.
immediately that is not a part of the actual story. That's already
Of course not.
Yeah, that's already I don't even know why. I don't know if it's just because they want to draw people in immediately, because I don't really know what this generation of horror movie lovers really likes. I don't know if they like the big giant spectacle of horror. Um, but I think the best ones, like The Exorcist, is a slow buildup. It's like a really slow buildup throughout this movie. And
Mhm.
this one was the complete opposite. It's like, here's the
Oh,
big giant fight with the demon right in the beginning to draw you in. And
hated
then,
that.
yeah. Uh, and then it's what is he? It doesn't even start off because the guy's like, if you're gonna possess anybody, come into me. Like, and then I don't know how Ed and Lorraine. Don't hear that. Oh, wait, no, it's because there was a tornado inside the house, that's why they didn't hear it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Yeah. This yeah.
Um, but yeah, he just I don't know, it's such a like, a trope for them to just be like, "Get out of him, you can come into me." They steal it from, I guess, ever since The Exorcist, when it's like, "Leave her, take me." They
Right.
are taking that, but it's just like it doesn't have the same, like, gravitas to it or anything like that, because 'cause we're just jumping right into this movie.
Right, but apparently that's what really happened though. But apparently that's what really happened, and that's why the guy who ended up killing someone got possessed because he took
Yeah.
it from the boy. And okay, did you watch that documentary on Netflix?
No, I haven't seen the documentary.
Oh, The Devil on Trial, and it's about a Conjuring 3 story?
No, I've only read on
Oh,
read that
oh.
story, but the documentary is good?
Oh my gosh, it's okay, that documentary, I if you guys have seen Conjuring 3 or anything about the Warrens or anything, there's a documentary on Netflix called The Devil on Trial, and it's about the Conjuring 3 story, and, it is eye-opening. At the end of it, I was pretty much like, "Well, the Warrens are all a load of crap."
Yeah,
Seriously, it's like you lit and that whole story, it's insane, and it the little boy who it's about, who's possessed, David Glatzel, he was
yeah,
apparently possessed for a very long time, like, for a while, and this documentary is his first interview he's ever done, I think,
yeah.
and he's, like, a man now, obviously, but like a grown man, um, but it's like,
It'd be
that
scary if he was still a
happened.
child.
I mean, the demons keep you young. I
Yeah,
don't know. Um, but then yeah, then his sister's boyfriend said to like come into me, demon. And then later the sister's boyfriend ends up killing the sister's coworker, I think. But apparently
yeah,
she was having an affair with this guy. And then they all got drunk together, and then he ends up killing
yep,
him. And then he's like, "Oh no, it was a devil because I took the devil out of the boy, you see."
yeah,
So I was possessed. So that's and then he's in the movie, the guy who killed the guy, I don't know all their
yeah.
names right now, but you guys got this documentary is oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I know the story of, the one he said about, like, "No, I did take the demon."
Mhm.
Um, the demon listened to me when I said, "Hey, leave the boy. You got somebody right here." Uh, and then in the movie, they make it just seem like he was imagining, like, them having an affair, like, it wasn't
Mm,
really
mm,
happening, everything is going crazy in his head.
no.
Um, Because I don't know what they had, it was like a dog kennel or I don't remember what the I saw the movie
Yeah,
one time.
me too. It was like a dog grooming, dog kennel type company, yes,
Yeah,
and she worked there, and they were having an affair. So, I
yeah,
mean,
but
it's
in
motive.
the movie, it was like,
Mhm,
no, they weren't having an affair, they're super in love because I think, like I talked about before, it's very heavy-handed with love conquers all. Love
yeah,
is gonna get you through this trial. Love is gonna
mhm.
stop this now witch woman who is in here.
Yes,
Um,
power of
and
love.
yeah, the power of love conquers all. Once I got to the end of the movie and it was that part of the movie where it's just, "We love each other, that's how we won. Our love." I did the biggest sigh. I just, ugh, just no. Why? Why did you do that?
But, like, he does go to jail. Like, he goes to jail
Y
for, like, I forget how long it was. He was sentenced and he went. And
yeah,
apparently him and her did get married though while he was in jail, and they were together. So maybe love did conquer all, but the other stuff actually did happen.
yeah.
Uh, oh, oh man, you gotta watch that documentary because they interview
I
the
got
whole family. They interview the whole family, and there's this one brother that they interview for a little bit in the beginning. The brother of the little boy of the boy man, now he's man, who was
yeah,
possessed. And they don't interview him again to the very end, and then he just spills the tea, as they say.
Yeah.
He just and then you're like, "Oh, okay. Alright." And then they talk about the Warrens and all the money they were making and how they took money and didn't give them money, like, it's all it's actually sad. It's kind of a sad story, but it made me look at the
Yeah,
Warrens like,
because
"Wow.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
because they were just taking advantage of a situation, like a like an actually horrible situation that probably in no way had to actually do with a demon or the devil, you know?
No." Again, another it seems like another child who was wanting attention or was extremely
Yeah,
depressed or something, and he was and the but they the thing that Ed and Lorraine Warren did is they kept pushing this child to believe he was possessed,
yeah.
and that's like child abuse, man. Like, I just it's sad. It's really sad. I feel bad for that dude because it's almost like, does he actually believe he was possessed? I don't
Yeah,
know.
when you're constantly told by somebody who is supposed to be, like, well respected,
Mhm,
you know, and both of them, him and Lorraine, both well respected, and they're both like, "No, this
mhm.
is what we see. This is what we're hearing. Like, this is what we do, and this is listen to us. We're the experts." Which I've
Exactly.
always hated. I've always hated the term of somebody being an expert in, like, the paranormal because
Mm.
there's nobody who's gonna know anything for certain. Nobody's gonna know anything for certain.
No. No,
So,
yeah, how do you study something where there's no actual 100% tangible proof for
unless you're
I mean, there could be
ghostbustering
proof
it
out there,
up
but
yeah, unless you're ghostbustering it up and catching one in a box, then
yeah,
then you don't have any real proof. Because even on the
true.
internet, you can be like, "This is fake. This is that could be anything."
I know, but then I also think, like, that's the sad part too, is because what if there are videos out there that
Yeah,
are real, but we're so like, "Oh, it's fake," because you can fake anything. Like, people on their phones with, like, no training in, like, CG or, like, Photoshop can just, like, do it's crazy what people can do. So,
yeah.
we're just so trained to think that everything's fake when we see it. But like, what if there are some actual videos out there that are real? I don't know. There could be, but nah, they're all fake.
Well, if the Warrens ever showed their videos that they got, you know, if they weren't always destroyed or anything, because with them, it's like, all right, we've built up enough good grace to just for everybody just to believe what we say,
Yeah,
and
it's
now
true.
Hollywood's at our door, and they're gonna buy all our stories, and now people are gonna believe that there was actually a demon nun at the Enfield haunting. They're gonna believe that in the Devil Made Me Do It, there was a witch that started everything. You know?
God. Yeah, no. The dude was jealous and drunk and he killed
Yeah,
her. He killed his girlfriend's lover. That's what it was. And the little boy, I think something happened to him that traumatized him and then
yeah. He was going
that was
through
it.
something. He was going through something, and then there he was told it's a demon. The guy probably knew ahead of time that his girlfriend was having an affair, and
Mhm.
then when the moment happened, he was like, "Hey, all right, I have an alibi now. This
Mhm.
demon that the Warrens kept talking about, that's my alibi." Which there's no way you're gonna prove that you were possessed by a demon,
No.
especially when you're like, "Oh yeah, after I killed the person, the demon just he just bounced out of here.
Yeah.
He just left."
Yeah, but in the movie, it was like this crazy holy water scene in a jail cell.
Yeah,
I don't remember, but I remember it just being, like, crazy in this jail cell. I'm like, "Okay, come on."
but
But
even
this
in the
is
movie,
I
they're
think
like, "It's not even the devil. It's like you no connection to the devil. It's this witch who's just leaving like little hex bags everywhere." Like
oh,
it turned into an
it
episode of
doesn't
Supernatural, is what it turned into.
okay, a big, long, over the top. Oh, I don't
Yeah,
know. This to me, though, like, this movie is, like, based on the saddest story because it is so messed up, and I feel so
yeah,
bad for the kid or the man, and just it's nuts. Like, some innocent guy died for real. and they're marketing off this guy's death. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's and this
Yeah.
kid's trauma. Well, kid at the time's trauma, like, they're banking off it. It's just oof. Mm,
Yeah. And I think as the movies went on, more and more people were like, especially when people are forced to be home, more, and they're just like, "Oh, this movie's coming out. Let me look up what's going on with this actual story." Then more and more people see, because now the Warrens they've passed, but they have no good grace anymore. Like, nobody really trusts anything that comes has come from them anymore. Because
no.
when you make everything available to everybody, when you have all your books that talk about everything that you have done, and then when people look up or talk to the people who actually experience these things, they're like, no, the Warrens just
Mm,
wanted money at the end of the day.
yeah. Like,
On top of this one being a
maybe
terrible movie.
oh, yeah, and this one is a terrible movie. I don't know. I don't know who really likes I thought Simon liked this movie, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, I think he did.
Um, oh, what was I gonna say about oh, maybe Lorraine Warren actually was, like, sensitive in, like, feeling energies and stuff, maybe. Like, I'm not gonna say, like, oh, she maybe wasn't, like, some sort of, like, empath or something like that, that could sense
Yeah.
that, like, I wanna believe there's people out there who are just more in tune with things or sensitive to things. That'd be cool, and maybe she was, but the way they made them look like complete saints that weren't in it for money or to market off people, and they were just there to help and kumbaya with the guitar, I don't think that was what it was like.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they just, like we said, they had no faults within the movie.
No.
The only
No.
faults they had were when they disagreed on should we help these people or not.
Mhm.
Then ultimately it was like, we can't just not help these people, because all they're
Mhm.
doing is helping. That's all they want to do is help save the world one demon at a time.
Yeah, they're pure at heart, and they're taking all
Yeah.
those possessed items, and they're putting them in their basement and keeping the world safe.
Yeah. Yes. All their haunted items from
Yeah, and then charging people to come look at it.
yeah. The same as Zach Bagans. They have the same thing.
Yeah.
Even though I did go to Zach Bagans' museum a couple of times, um, just because it's weird to look at all the stuff that's there. Because at
Mhm.
one point they bring out a human skull and they're like, "Here, you want to hold this?"
Like, it's a real human skull?
Yeah, that belonged to like a
Okay.
priest or something. He says, "Yeah."
Okay.
They're like, "Here, you want to hold this? You want to do this? You want to step into where we have pieces of the demon house? Do you want to step into Ed Gein's uh like where he like cooked people or whatever, like his little pot that he had? Like, if you
Okay.
like
Well,
if you like true crime, you go to this place. It's not like the Warrens. The Warrens is like Annabelle, whatever was in the movie, a haunted TV that saw into
mhm.
the future. I don't know, uh, and all kinds of just haunted items. But Zach Bagans is like true crime haunts.
That's
That's what you're
cool.
gonna
That's
get.
like that's like part of history too, so it's like, if
That's
these
why
are
that's why I
actually
went
the
there a couple of
items, then
times.
yeah. Yeah, I would go there too. That I get, totally. I don't like him, but I would probably go to that museum too, not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah. That's what Simon wants to come to the U.S. for. He wants to come here, and he's like, "We'll meet in Vegas. We'll go to the museum."
Oh, it'd be
Um,
awesome. You guys gotta do it and document it.
yeah, but they don't let you record
Seriously.
there. It's another one of those
Of
things where
course
it's like you're
not.
not allowed to do anything. Yeah, no pictures. The only picture you can take is right here in the lobby, and that's it.
You can't take any pictures in there?
No,
Oh, man.
yeah.
Well,
I bet you the
that's
Warrens'
fine
place would be the
then.
same thing. They created.
Yeah.
They were like you have every single haunted item, but for some reason your home is completely safe. Um, I guess just because you have a cross on the door or whatever, like it'll keep every single demon object that you have at bay. Uh, but yeah, by the just like in this movie, in the third movie, um, yeah, they go they bring up the story that happened. They try to bring up not even the real story. Everything is completely besides the guy saying, "Yeah, I took the demon away." Everything is completely thrown out of left field. And then there's a witch that comes into play. I don't even remember the witch's name. I I just know that it, like, left a hex bag underneath, like, the waterbed that the kid was on when he gets possessed or something.
Okay, to be honest, I don't remember anything about this witch. I believe you, but I'm like, I think I just take the things about the movie and just, like, wash it out of that's yeah, not at all what I think the story is supposed to be about, like, really
No,
about. A witch?
no,
Okay,
because
but yeah, okay.
it goes more into the Warrens and their love
Right.
towards the end of the movie. Like, the
Um,
witch is, like, tricks, like, blows dust into Ed Warren's face, and then he starts thinking that Lorraine is the spirit, and he's, like, attacking her and trying to, like, kill her with an axe or something, like Jack Torrance, like,
oh.
just going after her with an axe, and then she's like, "Remember when we kissed at the gazebo, and that was our first kiss in the rain," and all this stuff,
Oh
like,
my god.
and then he
I
starts to
don't
break
remember
out of
that
it.
at all.
Yeah, and then he's, like,
Oh, the
breaking
power,
away from
yeah.
it, and he's holding the axe and, like, or it's a hammer, I don't remember what it is, but he's doing a whole Jack Torrance thing, and he's, like,
Mm.
stomping over to, like, this table, this stone tablet where the witch had done whatever, and he, like,
Oh,
smashes it.
yeah. Oh, wait, they're where are they? They're, like, in some weird
They're, like, in
basement
some
or something? Where
catacombs, whatever, underneath the church.
are
Yeah.
Oh, yeah! Oh my god, that just came back to me like a weird flashback, this weird, like, red lighting catacomb, like, tablet.
Yeah,
Oh my god. Oh, I hated it so much. Oh, I
yeah.
hated that movie. Oh god. Yeah, none of that happened. That's so crazy. And, like, to add all that crap in there, why? It just cheapens it and it makes it so stupid and cheesy. Come
But they even
on.
cheap out in the sense of, like, this witch was trying to conjure a demon this whole time. The devil or demon has doesn't make an appearance at all.
Mm-mm.
There's no devil or demon. It's been the witch this whole time. It wasn't a
Mm.
demon that possessed anybody. They were hexed. Um, and then finally, when the witch is defeated, and because she needs to give it, what was the story? The witch needed the soul of the young, um, uh, somebody, a jealous lover, and then somebody in love or something like that. Something weird, like three types of love they needed the souls of because Ed again was going to die in this movie. His heart was weak from fighting the demon at the beginning of the movie.
Ah,
Um
okay.
so that's what the demon needed to get resurrected, but the demon still comes forward at the end. But they didn't even there's no demon. It's just the demon in the form of the witch. So it's just they didn't even bother putting together a demon. And then it takes
Okay.
that just that one soul. It takes the witch at the end.
Okay. Yeah, I blanked so much of that out. I think they lost me so hard at the beginning when they left their kid alone in their room and it got all effed up. And I was like, here we go. This is not going to be good. And then by the
Yeah.
time that crap happened, I was like, what am I watching? Because it doesn't feel anything like the first Conjuring movie. Like it just feels
No.
so, they don't feel like they're in the same world. They're supposed to be in the same world. And this, I just, yeah, no, no, not a good
Yeah.
movie. But the documentary is good, but the movie is bad.
Well, yeah, when you get the real people telling what actually happened rather than
Yeah.
because I think was it by the time was it after The Conjuring 2 that Lorraine ends up passing away, so this 3rd movie had no input from Lorraine at all or something like that, even though it wouldn't have really mattered in the end, but yeah, I don't know what their thoughts were to take such a dramatic case about the trauma
Mhm.
of a child and then the trauma of, like, jealous murder,
Yeah.
and then say, "You know what? That's only gonna be, like, a tiny part of the movie. We're really gonna focus on this witch that's trying to that's trying to kill us." And yeah, this that once it I was taken out from the beginning as well, but once it gets to the end and I'm like, I just waiting for this movie to end, it
Yeah.
just it it hits you even harder when she's like, "Remember our first kiss in the gazebo?" Because I think he rebuilds that exact gazebo at the end of the movie.
Oh,
Like he
okay.
rebuilds it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's sweet, but I don't find it
yeah.
sweet in like a fighting demons
No.
type kicking down the door of a nether child possession movie. I just don't it just doesn't feel they made it so much about their love, and I mean, I guess they're trying to, like, draw in all types of people to watch it or something, I don't know. But, yeah, man, that movie lost me. That movie lost me big time.
Yeah, because it wanted to be a horror movie, a real movie, and then like a Nicholas Sparks movie all in one, which that doesn't really meld together very well.
No, I didn't feel it felt very disjointed, and it felt very just like, uh what else can we do in this movie? What else can we put in this movie? How else can we go big? How what else can we do? It's just like, just keep it simple, man, and, like, have us
Yeah.
engrossed in one story, like, don't go too crazy. Uh,
Yeah, because I even think in this movie, this is where actual murders happen in this movie, because it's the murder
yes.
with the jealous lover, but then also the
Mhm.
witch kills her own father.
I
Do you
don't
remember that?
remember that. No!
Yeah, he's like you find out that it's like this priest who kept his daughter away, and because he was like looking into the occult, she looked into the occult, but he wanted her to stop, so she didn't. She ran away, and then like she like portals behind him, and then like just
Oh my god. Okay, that's another
weird.
layer to an already layered story that I don't think they even needed all those layers to.
No, not at all.
They should have started the movie with, like, the possession of the boy and it gradually becoming worse, and then have, like, the middle of the movie, the guy being like, "Come into me," and then the whole last part of the movie being, like, his trial and stuff, instead of
Yeah, because they
adding
barely
in all
show
this
the
other
trial.
crap. No, and it was like,
Yeah,
it's a huge deal.
yeah,
I
that's
don't
the
know.
main part of the story.
Yeah, that's what the story is about. That's what it's
Yeah,
based on. Their story where they were the I think they were like the first ones to present to a court that
yep,
demon possession can aid in a murder. And like that's huge. That's like historical almost. Like make that. What is this witch with these sacks and a waterbed and the killing the dad like with a tablet and the three loves that need to be
yeah.
sacrificed? What?
It's so weird.
Oh god.
It's so
No.
weird, and I think that was another one where I was like, "I don't know if I can make it through this movie," and I was watching it at home. I was like, "I can turn it off at
Me
any
too.
point."
Me too, and I was like you, I was, like, waiting for it to end, I'm like, "Oh god, get it over with," which is
Yeah,
such a shame because of how much I really love the first one.
yeah,
It's kinda heartbreaking because 'cause I'm like, "Damn, I really love the first one, I love it," like, I actually that movie gave me hope in modern horror because there was, like, a whole like few years where I was like, "Oh, all these horror movies suck." And then The Conjuring came out and
yeah,
I'm like, "Okay, this is a good modern horror movie." And then now they just have aggressively gotten worse and worse, straying farther and farther away from the true stories they're supposed to be based on. And
oh,
they're
yeah.
just they're ruining them. They're ruining the stories. They're ruining them.
Yeah, because now at this point, they're just building their own universe, much like the Marvel movies do or whatever. They're
Mm.
throwing in all kinds of spirits, demons. Like we said earlier, there was supposed to be a Crooked Man movie.
Mm.
For what reason? Because
Oh
it was a
god,
cool
it's like
design.
yeah, and then is Lorraine Warren gonna be involved? Is she gonna throw down? Is there gonna be a Valak and Crooked Man face off? Are they gonna
Yeah.
somehow face off? There can only be
No, there's gonna be
one,
like
and then they're gonna like
no, they were gonna build like with Spider-Man, it was gonna be like a Sinister Six of just like all the demons, um,
Mhm.
that Ed and Lorraine would have to fight.
I would not even be shocked if they did that. I don't there's gonna be Annabelle, there's gonna be Valak, there's gonna be Crooked Man, there's gonna be what you pronounce how do you pronounce La Llorona? You pronounce it properly.
Oh, La Llorona.
Thank you. There will be her, there's gonna be every single, like, scary Conjuring universe demon, some that werewolf random thing, and then Ed and Lorraine
Yeah,
are
the
gonna have to have this
ferryman.
big, like, face off. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yes, the ferryman. What, with the eyes with the coins? Oh, I bet you that's what they're building up for.
Yeah. Well, they did that in basically did
Mm.
that in Annabelle Comes Home, is
Yeah, I guess.
everything came out. Like, they had the the girl gets possessed by the bride dressed. You have the ferryman, you
Mhm,
have Annabelle, you have the werewolf, um, the TV, the haunted TV,
mhm.
um, which weird. Like, you can't who's gonna be scared of a TV that just shows you a little bit of, like, what happens right before something?
Mm.
Um, oh, there was a giant samurai suit, a haunted samurai
Oh,
suit.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, they have everything, yes. Oh my god, the werewolf really got me, but that haunted samurai suit, they were teeing up for that too in, like,
I think
one of the Annabelles or
like,
something.
in the real story with the werewolf, like, the guy was just saying he had the spirit of a wolf inside of him, and he was just a murderer, right? It was just a guy who wanted to be
Yes.
a murderer. Um, and then, uh, they were like, "Okay, how do we go about this?" And then James Wan was just like, "Just make it a full-on werewolf. Just make it a werewolf, man,
Why not? Why
who
not?
travels by mist."
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. See, the thing is hold on, I need to mute because 'cause I'm gonna cough one sec. Still not 100% better, so I'm like, "Ugh." The thing is too is, like, Ed and Lorraine Warren protected murderers.
Yeah,
Like, I just feel like they protected people who actually murdered people.
yeah, they did.
That's messed up. Think
But it's
about it,
also they
really
can
think
make their
about it.
money.
I
Yeah,
know, but it's okay, it's just fear, it's just demons, so it's not their
yeah.
fault.
It's not their
Oh,
fault, it's the
God rest their
demon's fault.
souls. Yeah, it's the demon's
All they were
fault.
doing was
Oh
saving
gosh.
everybody.
Yeah.
But I think it's
Gosh.
funny, like, I think in the beginning of everything, people believed everything to be real. I think now we're
Mhm.
in a point I mean, there's still, like, The Pope's Exorcist or whatever, the recent movie that came out that was supposed to be based on the actual documents of an exorcist that worked directly with the Pope.
Okay.
That was a CGI fest. Complete
That's
CGI
yeah, that's
fest. He gets, like, superpowers in the movie. So that's where, like, they're taking all of these movies that are based on true events, and they're turning a complete now all of these, like, exorcism, ghost movies are, like, just basically superhero movies because all you have is just a superpowered, clairvoyant, somebody who's gonna fight the demon, and that's all it is.
yes, they're all the exact same, and The Exorcist Believer is no different.
Mm. Yeah.
That movie is no different, and all these exorcism movies are they have to learn from the actual movie The Exorcist and just think, like, less is more.
Yeah.
Like, less is so much more, and they can't get it.
No,
I
because
watched
even in
one
those movies
exorcism
Go on, you're fine. You're good.
oh, I watched one found footage exorcism movie recently, and that one was good. It was really slow burn, but that one was good. I forget what it was called, The Devil's Doorway, and that one was
Okay.
cool. It had like but then it was a low budge found footage, like, European movie, and, like but, like, these Hollywood exorcism movies or even not just exorcism movies, like, paranormal ghost movies in general are just
Yeah.
too crazy.
Yeah, because they did the same thing with, like, Paranormal Activity that started off really small, and then by
Mhm.
the end of it, it's like you're traveling through time, you're looking through time, um, you're within both past and present, and there are now ghost portals everywhere, like,
Okay, is that Paranormal Activity Ghost Dimension? That movie
I
was
think
I hated that movie.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
because each movie is just
Yeah.
going further and further back, like, it's like a
Yeah.
prequel, prequel, prequel. That's all it is prequels. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, then they're, like, traveling through Black Mirror, like, it just becomes crazy, and then that's now what we're in that realm now. So, every kind of, like, demon movie is gonna be these giant CGI fests that are based on true stories that don't have any part, like, you just have, like, a one snippet of the true story.
Mhm. Which I think is okay, but when they make it too much of, like, a big spectacle like that, or it's like a Marvel movie, that's when it's like,
Yeah.
"Okay, guys, like, don't put the disclaimer based on a true story in the beginning if you're gonna do that."
Yeah.
Because then it's just like, okay, but if you're gonna keep it, like, smaller and, like, less CG and more, like, practical effects and stuff, then it's like, oh, maybe it's more like, it feels more believable as if you're even though you know, it's embellished, as if you're like, "Oh, it's creepier." I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I have no idea, but, like, by the end of the movie that's probably why they haven't done any other I don't know know, because some people really liked The Devil Made Me Do It, and I don't know why,
Maybe those
but
people like
me
Marvel movies and those big spectacle
yeah,
movies, maybe, I don't know. Which is fine. It's just not my thing. I didn't like it.
yeah, no, this wasn't this if you like the movie, you're wrong, I'm gonna say that. No, I'm just kidding.
You're totally wrong.
Yeah,
Screw
you're
you.
wrong. Your opinion doesn't matter in this instant right here. Like,
No. Oh my god.
uh, but yeah, when you go down like, going through each one of the stories, you just find out that it's just like all it was at the end of the day was the Warrens making money.
Mhm.
And I think what is it? What was their daughter's name?
Oh god, it's just gonna drive me crazy. They talk about
Her
her
husband.
so much
I know
and
her husband or her ex-husband. I don't know if he's still her husband. Tony Spera, who now runs
okay.
their museum.
Okay. Judy.
He doesn't re- Oh, Judy. There you go.
Judy, yeah.
Yeah. So her husband, ex-husband, I don't know if they're still married or not, but he's like handles everything and he like transports Annabelle to conventions and but doesn't allow people to go into the museum because they're like gonna move it or I don't know what the main thing is. It's too haunted for the world to see. But I will bring our most haunted object to a bunch of conventions for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And on a plane,
Yeah.
probably. On an airplane. Let's
Yeah.
just throw Annabelle on an airplane. Nothing bad
Yeah.
will happen. Apparently, she caused, like, a motorcycle death when somebody left that museum who was, like, mocking her
Yeah.
in the case, but let's put her on an airplane. Everything will be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I just think it's just like people put so much power behind like a story
Yeah.
that slowly it just starts to become like real in the public eye.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
you're so freaked out that you hear a noise and then you're like, that's definitely a demon. Because right now I'm scared and that's a demon. And I
Mhm.
think that's what happens when people watch these scary movies and they see that Annabelle is like this crazy, powerful, haunted doll. It's just like, I don't even want to touch Annabelle. I don't even want to look at a picture of Annabelle. It freaks me out so much.
Mhm.
It's just
Well, I
weird.
think there's people actually who think, like, that could be, like, transferred to them somehow, like, and
Yeah.
needs to be, like, looking at some sort of, like, possessed or demonic, like, item or whatever, like, I
Yeah.
don't you have, like, possessed, haunted items? Don't you, like, buy them sometimes? I thought you did, I
Well,
remember that.
yeah, I have a couple of them. I have a doll sitting above me here. She's actually looking down at me. Um, and she was given to me. She was apparently haunted. She didn't do anything. So
No.
no,
So nothing has happened in your house. Your house is cool.
no, we have only one thing that we actually have locked in a case.
Oh.
Um, and it's a Catholic, you know, the little cloth that goes over their arm and they wipe
Mhm.
the cup after communion. It's that thing.
Yes.
Um, uh, my fiance started having nightmares after getting that thing. And she just kept saying, "It's that thing. It's that." Um, so I have it in a case. It's in a jar with holy water and then locked in a case.
Oh,
So
man. That's freaky though. Let's okay, no, what we need is we need to get Hollywood in here, James Wan, write a
yeah,
movie about that, and it'll just be like a CG like glass broken and wind and a witch that secretly put something under your
yeah.
pillow. No,
Annabelle will for
that's
some reason
creepy.
make an appearance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she'll be there.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, that's creepy though.
yeah. That's the only thing really. I didn't get anything from it. Like I didn't sense
Mhm.
anything, but she really felt something. So I was like, better safe than sorry. But
Yeah. Mhm. Well, which is
yeah,
nice. That's nice.
yeah. So other than that, it's just nothing much. No, none of the haunted
Mm.
things really do anything. It's not like the movies at all. It's not-
Right. Okay.
yeah, I don't have the doll, the haunted doll change into like a crooked man or something, you know. So,
Well, not
but
yet.
yeah, those
It
not yet.
it's
I'm
listening, not
waiting.
yet.
Yeah, it's weird because I look up and I just see like these little black doll eyes just looking at it.
It's
So,
listening.
yeah, but that's the Conjuring movies. I mean, the movies themselves, which I think we agree that the first one is good, the second one is good to a point, and the third one is just bad from beginning to end.
Right.
And that's leaving out all the rest of the other movies that came along with it.
Mhm.
Um, and then the real stories, just the Warrens making a quick buck after of people's experiences and stories and
Yeah.
making it fit for them.
Yeah, and basically taking some stories that weren't even theirs and making money off
Yep.
those. So, yeah.
All in all, what's your takeaway from it?
Well, my takeaway from it is I can't I'm gonna say it one more time like a broken record, I can't stress it enough. I wanted to keep some sort of hope alive that maybe there was some truth, especially Lorraine and maybe Ed, they had good intentions. I wanted to I like believing in stuff because I think it's fun. It brings the adrenaline up. I'm like, I want there to be
Yeah.
another whatever dimension or ghost or anything so bad. That be because it can't just be this. But after watching that documentary, that to me was like, nope. I was like, they're in it. That's it. They're in it for the money. They're making stuff up. They basically, I feel like mentally abused this child, and that was it for me. That really was like the nail in the coffin was for like the
Yeah.
Warrens being just like hacks. And it's kind of it sucks too because it takes all the Warrens' actual cases and diminishes them when maybe the people who actually were being haunted actually
Yeah.
there was some truth there and it was really devastating to them. But then when you look at it like, oh, the Warrens just did it, so it's fake. But these people actually went through stuff and maybe they actually believe that they were haunted for a while. And I don't know, it's kind of all it's sad and disappointing for many reasons.
Yeah. When the Warrens and their antics kind of taint a story. Like you just
Yeah.
their presence just tainted stories.
Mhm. And it used to feel like, "Oh, Ed and Lorraine Warren, oh, they were on this
Yeah.
case," and now after all this, it's like, "Oh man."
Yeah,
Mm.
ugh,
Ruh,
Ed
ruh.
and Lorraine Warren were on this case.
Yeah,
No more
exactly.
excitement. We'll
Yeah.
see if they add any more, if they do any more stories based on them. Um,
Mhm.
I don't know if like her daughter and husband are gonna get money from any of these things, but I mean that's what that's what ended up that's the sad thing that happened with all these people's stories is they just got sold to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I think one takeaway would be like, don't believe that everything happened when you see based on a true story.
Yes. Yeah, it's a very small sliver amount that is actually based on, but it's fun to believe sometimes.
Yeah.
Just don't take it to heart. It's fun to believe, but just don't take it to heart.
Yeah, you can't you believe that things happen. I mean, that's what I talk about most of the
Mhm.
time. So
Mhm. 'Cause we want to
um
believe, man. We want to. That's why it's
yeah,
so soul crushing when you realize things were phony or something. It's like, "Oh, damn. Thought we were onto something this time." No.
yeah, no,
No.
no,
Another
not at
dead end.
all. Uh, but I want to say thanks for coming on. I knew it'd be perfect to have you on for this discussion, especially because horror movies are your thing. So it's like,
Definitely my thing, and paranormal stuff's all my thing. I love it all, and just thank you for having me on. You asked me a little while ago, and I'm like, "I can't talk. I
yeah,
want to, I swear." I just sent you a voice message just for proof. I'm like, "I do, I
yeah,
just can't." But I was totally Wilkins it up. I was totally
yeah,
like that. Like, I could have been like I could be like, "I'm possessed," and then a movie made
yeah.
about me. No, I was kidding. Just kidding. But,
It
yeah,
could
thank you
be.
for having
It
me
could
on, though.
happen.
This was fun. It could
Yeah.
happen. Now it will. But this was so much fun, and, I'm so grateful that you asked me to come on. Anytime you wanna talk about anything like this, I'm down.
Yeah. Anytime there's more horror movies that have a connection with it, because I love talking about horror movies anyways. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, maybe we'll have you come on and we'll talk about just for fun to talk about Terrifier, Art the Clown universe.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
would imagine you and my fiance would have a good time talking about because she was the same way. At the end of it, she at the end of Terrifier 2, she was just like, "What? What was this?
Okay,
What
good.
was this?"
Oh, thank God. I'm
Yeah,
glad she agrees because I was like, "Damn!" Because at the end of Terrifier 1, I was like, "Oh, damn, I love this."
yeah,
And at the end of Terror 2, I'm like, "Oh."
yeah, yeah. Because she loves like we have like she loves Art the Clown. We have like
Mhm.
figures. I have all three movies like on VHS.
Mhm.
Um, Meaning All Hallows Eve, Terrifier, and then Terrifier 2. Um, so she would have a blast talking about it. So we'll
Oh,
definitely
well,
get you
yeah.
back on.
I could definitely talk about it, and I watched All Hallows Eve, like, last weekend or the weekend before, I think weekend
uh,
before, for the first time too, and I was like, there's a lot to say, man." It's
yeah,
a lot to say.
yeah. So we'll definitely have you back on again. I appreciate you coming on. This was a good talk. I hopefully people enjoy it. Um, one more time, just let everybody know where they can find you and all that.
Okay, you can find me on my YouTube channel, Not a Strong Start, and I have my own Instagram page at Marie Plays It All, and we're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts at not at, take that out of there. Not at, just Not a Strong Start. I always throw the ads in because I'm like, everything's Instagram
Yeah,
to me.
yeah.
But yes, Not a Strong Start, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and then I am Replays It All on Instagram. And also Not a Strong Start on Instagram too.
Sweet. So I'll put everything in the description below too, so people can just click away. Um, for those watching, listening, subscribe, hit the stupid little bell for notifications. 5-star rating review on Apple, and then also you can review on Spotify. So
Mhm.
review 5 stars. Um, and I think that's about it. I think that's it. I
So
don't know. I
there's
have
so much to
more.
remember. There's so much to remember.
If you have stories, send it in at inducedfearpod@gmail.com. If you were there at any one of the hauntings, if you have any connection to it, you can send an email in to talk. Um, don't forget to ask questions and face your fears. Thanks for joining me and Marie on this episode of Induced Fear.